back to another video. I hope you're having a good start to the year. So this is a time of the year where we start thinking about resolutions and how we want to shape the year that we have ahead. A lot of people's resolutions is often to exercise more, go to the gym, get in shape, lose weight, things that are really related to physical activity. And I thought that a lot of us normally avoid doing exercise and things like that because it's very painful and it can be really difficult. But it is also really good for us. So I really wanted to do a series that is completely dedicated to exercise and fibromyalgia. I know other people have made videos and blog posts and there's tons of information out there about exercise and fibromyalgia, but I feel like often people just sort of skim the surface and they just talk about like the benefits and why it's good for you, but they don't really go into into a lot of depth as to how and why and how we can make it work for us. And I think I really want to do that. This series is going to be going into at least March, I think. My idea is to post videos related to the exercise series on Fridays and have another video on Tuesdays about something else, so that it's not too repetitive and so that I have time to plan them better and to work on them better. This is part 1, and this is going to be about the benefits of exercise and just a little introduction. I know that a lot of us already know the benefits of exercise, but I just really wanted to make this one as like an introduction, make some points about why it's good for us, and just talk a little bit about what is coming in the series as well. Often we are told that we should exercise more by doctors, by other people, and people seem to be very convinced that exercise will fix everything for us. And then many people mainly people who have fibromyalgia, have the assumption that exercise is inherently bad for us. And we're actually wrong. So exercise isn't bad for us. Our problem isn't exercise. Our problem is the type of physical activity and how we're doing it. It's not about exercising hard, which can actually induce more pain. It's about doing it appropriately to help improve our symptoms. The key is consistency. So whenever people recommend exercise to us, we are always taken aback and we're always like avoiding an eye roll. It just makes us think like, but I'm in pain all the time. How is doing this going to help? In our community, exercise is actually a really scary and tabooed word. So first of all, we need to make sure that we know what exercise is and what physical activity is, and if they're the same thing or not. And if they're not, then what is the difference? Physical activity is any body movements produced by skeletal muscles, which are the ones that are close to your bones, that results in energy expenditure. Walking from the bed to the sofa, going to take out the trash, hanging up laundry, that could be considered as physical activity. Exercise is actually a subset of physical activity because it is planned and structured and repetitive bodily movements designed to improve or maintain physical fitness. So you can be physically active and not actually exercise. But you can't exercise without being physically active, if that makes sense. So there are 3 separate types of exercise. There is aerobic exercise, which is things that make you sort of like cardio, things that make your heart beat a little bit faster than it normally beats. There is strength training. The last type is flexibility training. So there are these 3 types of exercise, but now there is this new concept that has come out, which is called LPA, and LPA stands for Lifestyle Physical Activity. This involves working towards accumulating at least 30 minutes of self-selected moderate intensity physical activity over the course of the day, 5 to 7 days a week. This would include activities done within the household, for leisure or occupational domains. So it would be walking, taking the stairs, doing laundry, changing bed sheets, all of these things that you do in your house every day that are housework. So if you're moving and if you're doing something that involves your muscles and involves some kind of movement, then you are doing LPA. So the key elements that actually distinguish LPA from traditional forms of exercise is the activities are performed in short bouts as opposed to a 30 to 45 minute session of exercise. It is also thought to be more easily integrated into the normal course of our day, and so making it easier to sustain over time. This is particularly important for people with fibromyalgia syndrome because the fluctuating nature of our symptoms makes it very difficult to engage and sustain sustain in a traditional exercise program over the long term. There are also complementary and alternative therapies, particularly mind-body therapies, so things like Tai Chi and yoga and Pilates do not actually fit into either of the concepts of exercise or LPA. However, they're also being studied and applied to people with fibromyalgia. This kind of exercise isn't really just exercise. It also involves a lot of like breathing techniques and relaxation techniques, meditation, and that kind of thing, and that can really help us reduce our stress or like control our mind better, and that would probably help us sleep better and help us with other symptoms that aren't necessarily related to the physical aspect of exercise. People with fibromyalgia very easily become intolerant to exercise. Obviously, we're in pain, and if we do overexert, it causes more pain. And then if we are sedentary, that also causes more pain. It's a very strange, intricate cycle that's very hard to break. We do definitely need to develop a tolerance for the exertion associated with physical activity if we want it to be sustainable and effective in our life. Early studies, particularly those involving aerobic exercise, often reported dropout rates of over 50%, which meant that over 50% of the participants would quit, not continue. And typically this dropout rate was attributed to the regular ebb and flow of fibromyalgia symptoms, problems in performing the exercises, and a dramatic increase in symptoms after exercise. And having such big dropout rates occurring even in well-structured center-based clinical exercise trials truly speaks to the challenge of getting people with fibromyalgia to maintain an exercise regimen in their daily lives. Estimates show that only 1 in 5 patients exercises regularly. And given the benefits associated with exercise and physical activity in patients who are able to adhere to their physical activity programs, it really becomes apparent that something isn't right. I don't personally believe that we don't want to get better. So in my opinion and in my experience, doctors are really failing us because they're not explaining things to us properly. They don't explain how we should be integrating exercise and physical activity into our lives, specifically to our condition, not just go out and exercise. They're not explaining how we should do it sustainably, how we should be doing it to actually have a long-term effect on our symptoms, and how to avoid flares and other negative side effects that will obviously arise. However, it's really important to note that we absolutely must change our pre-fibromyalgia exercising habits and learn how to do it correctly. I think it's definitely worth our trying and our investment, but it has to be done a specific way, and it has to be done with a lot of mindfulness and a lot of like thought. We can't just jump into it. So I'm just going to include a list right now of some of the benefits that exist for normal people and also some specific ones for us. So the benefits are more confidence and independence, a sense of well-being and vigor, burning calories and making it easier to control and maintain weight, decreasing stiffness, soreness, or discomfort by relaxing tight muscles, but also increasing the strength of muscles, bones, and joints, which promotes better mobility, range of motion, flexibility, strength and posture, and less pain, of course. It can decrease your resting heart rate and improve cardiovascular health, improving a person's outlook on life, reducing anxiety and depression levels, and reducing the stress associated with living with a chronic illness, improving the quality of sleep, increasing aerobic capacity, which in turn will increase our energy levels, even though this does happen in a very gradual and slow way, stimulating the secretion of endorphins or happy hormones, improving our immune system, and giving us a sense of accomplishment and like we are taking care of ourselves. So our experts obviously believe that exercise is essential for all the things that I've just mentioned, but also by helping you stay active in other areas of your life. Activity allows us to have more control over fibromyalgia and the amount of pain that we feel. Although it might not feel that way, exercising properly being the key word, will not damage your muscles, even though they will hurt, and they will hurt. but strengthening your muscle does not actually cause any structural damage. Recent scientific studies have shown that for most patients, range of motion, strengthening, and aerobic conditioning exercises are safe and necessary. So studies have shown that exercise can help restoring the body's neurochemical balance. Not only does regular exercise slow down the heart-racing adrenaline related to stress, it also boosts levels of natural endorphins, which are pain-fighting molecules, help to reduce anxiety, stress, and depression. It makes sense that exercise would be a part of our treatments, as our condition also deals with a lot of neurological aspects, and it has been shown in so many different angles to be helpful to other situations and other conditions that are similar or have similar symptoms to ours. Some theories also link fibromyalgia with serotonin levels, and lack of exercise and inactivity actually can aggravate low serotonin levels. So exercise can have a positive effect on serotonin and act as nature's tranquilizer by helping to boost serotonin in the brain. Because we are so sensitive to stress, exercise can be really helpful to desensitize our body to stress. So because you will have higher serotonin levels, you'll be less damaged by stress. That is the theory. So beyond the usual benefits of exercise that apply to everyone, the specific benefits of exercise for fibromyalgia include positive changes in the brain associated with pain processing, so not only serotonin levels, but all kinds of neurochemicals. And this means that it can be disease modifying. So it could actually make your disease a little bit less severe. Because fibromyalgia is a syndrome and there is a spectrum, there will be people on different points of the spectrum, and even you can change from one point to another within throughout your life. You will never be probably at the same point. Exercise can actually, over time and with time, it does help your brain. It does help you feel better in the future. Even if it doesn't wildly decrease your levels of pain, even if it helps you with the anxiety, the stress, the depression involved with being chronically ill, even if it helps you with just the mental aspects, that will in turn help with the pain. Like I was saying, it can be disease modifying and make our condition less severe. And this was shown in a study where healthy young people were selectively deprived of sleep, exercise, or both, and they developed fibromyalgia symptoms. And even some of the elite runners in the group started feeling tenderness and pain and depression and anxiety. All in all, exercise it seems like a great idea, right? There's nothing to lose. But obviously, like everything in fibromyalgia, it's very easy said and very almost nearly impossible to do. So in the rest of the series, I'm obviously going to be going into more details about why exercise is so hard for us and sort of the more scientific aspects of the brain and the exercise intolerance that is so common in our condition. But then we're going to be talking about how to get started, what are the best kinds of exercise for each person, and then some more practical things. So some things that you need to keep in mind and that would be helpful to, make the whole process easier. But also I want to do some stretches and some, gentle movements and things that would be helpful for you to do if you are having a bad day or not so bad day, so different levels of that. If you do have any requests for this series, for things you want me to talk about specifically, please let me know now so that I can prepare and I can plan it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did like it, don't forget to leave me a like and a comment. Let me know what you would like to see next in the series or just other video ideas in general. I'm always happy and open to more suggestions. If you haven't already, you can also consider subscribing to my channel. That would mean so much to me. And you can also consider becoming a member on Patreon, where you can help support my research and my things that I do and help me make more videos. And if you do that, you will also get early access to all of my videos, so you can watch them a day early. And in some of the tiers, you get bonus videos that are exclusive just for you. So that is all of the things that I have to say. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!